Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is McKaylee. I'm from breakingyarn.com or anywhere on social media at Breaking Yarn. Today I have a very fun video for you. It's 10 out of the box Advent sweater ideas for your Advent knitting. Let's go. My list is in no particular order. I have 5 sweaters, 2 cardigans, 2 tees, and 1 crochet sweater for your viewing pleasure today. And I believe all of these patterns do cost money on Ravelry or wherever you purchase your patterns from. So just as a little disclaimer there. And I also believe that all of them use a fingering weight yarn, except for one of them uses DK, but I'll show you how to rectify that as well. I should start by saying too that if you don't know what an Advent is, it's where a yarn Advent at least, is where you purchase a yarn Advent and it comes usually sometime in October, November, and you start opening them day 1, December 1st, the start of Advent season. You open 1 mini every single day leading up to Christmas, where you will usually open like a full-size skein of yarn. So that's what the Advent is. And if you're looking for a project to go with your Advent minis, that's what we're talking about today. So the first sweater I wanted to share with you is called Around the World Sweater by Carmen Jorissen. And this has all over color work. So it's the entire body of the sweater and sleeves is done in color work. And I think it would be really easy to modify the colors to match your Advent. So you could do your main skein as the contrasting color with the minis, or you can decide to introduce a third color, maybe like a 2 skeins of a different color that you will carry throughout with your Advent minis. But I just think that sweater is super cute, and since it's kind of stripy, I think it'll be easy to adapt for your Advent knitting. All right, sweater number 2. It's the Stripes sweater by Andrea Mowry or Andrea Renee Knits. And this particular photo that I'm showing you is by Jan's Crafting. And she knit this for the Advently Mal 2022. This is a yearly make-along that my friend Leah loves to knit, and I host every year on Instagram. It runs from January 1st to March 30, January, February, March 31st. I think that's all that goes, March 31st. And if you knit any project using Advent yarn, then you will be entered to win prizes. And so this one particularly is from 2022, so one that we did last year, and it looks super cute. I'm thinking I might steal this idea for next year. I really like this one with the thicker stripes, and hers kind of looks like it almost fades a little bit. So we'll have to see. I will wait to see when I open up all of my Advents before I decide a project. I want to see what all the Advent colors look like before I decide which pattern exactly I want to do. But this one is definitely in the top running. All right, sweater number 3 is the Scrappy Stripy sweater by Mary Gannon. And this particular photo is by the Stitchy Bitchy Patisserie, and she did a test knit for Mary. And it looks super cute with the stripes. Again, with stripes, I think any sweater with stripes is going to be really easy to adapt to work for your Advent knitting, especially because they're usually 20-gram minis. So you don't get a ton of yarn, but it's usually enough to do some striping on a sweater. And it looks like she also used a main color, like a gray, as stripes in between. So that would be something that would be easy to do. You can add in a solid or a semi-solid color as a main color, and then use your minis as the contrast. And I do have a lot of options. Actually, none of them are dyed right now. I'm missing gray matter, but I will have Coin Flip is Sacred, Lily of the Valley. You could do a black with a Jane Margolis, or even like a pop of color. If depending on your advent, you could do like a solid yellow or purple. It just depends on what you want it to look like. All right, sweater number 4 is the Juxtaposition sweater. It's by Johanna. And again, this is the one that was entered into the 2022 Adventally Mal by Jan's Crafting. It also has all over color work, and because of that, she was able to very easily add in her advent colors. It looks like they kind of go in rainbow order a little bit. I don't know if that's how her advent, was, like if she knit them in order of how she opened them, day 1 to day 25, or if she put them in more of a rainbow order. So that's a personal preference, whatever you want to do on that. Sweater number 5 is called the Ferda Sweater, or the Ferdagenser. It's by Anna and Heidi Pickles. And it's this very beautiful triangular shaped color work. And you can easily adapt this pattern to be done with an advent, just like how West Maven had done it. I saw this on Instagram, and she talks about it on her YouTube channel a little bit and how she is deciding to do her colors. She started with the red and is working her way down through the advents, and then she is gonna go backwards. So then she'll start with the white, go back to the yellow, the pink, the green, all the way, and the red will be at the bottom again. So I think that's a great idea. That's a great way to use up the minis without it repeating itself too bluntly, because if she went from the white to the red, it would be very stark, as opposed to like the very gradual kind of fade. So that's another sweater option. Now I have 2 cardigan options to share with you today. One is the Garter Marler. This is a pattern by Stephen West. This is the one that is a DK weight pattern, but I do think it would be really easy to get creative, put your thinking cap on, maybe you use your main color with your contrast mini to make it DK weight, and then you just knit your sweater that way. That is what Stephanie C. Knits did in these 2 that she entered into the Adventally Mal for 2023. And she was able to use up her 2021 Gilmore Girls Advent, which is really fun. They look super cute. And actually, I think one of these is a Radvent. One of these? Yeah, so the picture on the left is her Radvent cardigan, which is another cardigan that was made for Advent knitting. I didn't want to include it in this list only because it was made for Advent knitting, and I'm trying to do sweaters that aren't made for Advent knitting that you could easily make into Advent knitting. So that's why I didn't include that. But the one on the right is the Garter Marler, and it would be very easy to use up your Advent skeins in that as well. All right, so I have one more cardigan. It's the Stria cardigan. I know, surprise, surprise. This one is by Andrea Mowry, and it's mine. This is, I'm not done with it. I'm not done with it yet, but this is my Stria cardigan that I'm working on. I was entering this for the 2023 Adventally Make Along, and I'm just continuing to knit it. I probably won't wait until 2024 to finish it. I'll probably just try to get it done so that I can do a fresh Advent knitting project. But it has these little micro stripes, and so again, very easy to use for Advent knitting. I used a main color from my shop called Coin Flip is Sacred, and then all the minis are from my 2022 Leap of Faith Yarns Advent, and I am doing them in the order that they came. So it started with this pink up here, which was a pig, and then it works its way down through some different animals. That was her theme for that year. and ends with a cat. And I am still working on my first sleeve for this cardigan, but I think this is a great pattern for advent knitting, and I just had to share it on this video as well. All right, I have 2 tees to share with you in case you aren't a long sleeve sweater person. There are 2 tees. I found this one. This was also entered into the Adventurely Mal 2022 make along. It's called V-Back Tee by Jamie Hoffman, and it was knit by K2 Knit and Crochet. And it's beautiful. It looks like she was able to do a very nice fade from her Nicole Hugh Loco yarn, advent yarn. And I just think it looked super cute. This is a pattern that you can wear frontwards or backwards. So if you wear it backwards, then the V is in the, or maybe that's front, maybe that's the proper way to wear it, is that the V is in the back. I think that would make sense. The V is in the back, or you could flip it around and wear the V in the front. And if you wear it with the V in the back, it has a nice scoop neck. But I think it looks great either way. This is another one that I might end up stealing. I love the like chevron-y shape of it. And I think it turns out super cute as kind of like a fade that she was able to do on that. My last tee that I have to share with you on this video is the Sea Glass tee. And you might have seen this before on my channel. I knit this one for 2020. Oh, it must have been for 2022. I knit this Sea Glass tee out of my Fuzzy Whatnots advent. I actually only did a 13-day advent for that, so it wasn't even a full 24 days. I only had 13 skeins. And how I did it, and this is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs, but how I did mine is I had this main color. This was the main color that came with this with the advent. It was the main skein that came with it. And so I had the most of that yarn, obviously, besides the minis. So how I did it was I started with my main skein, and then I faded my main skein with my first mini. And then I decided to fade my mini with the next mini. And then I faded that mini with my main skein. So I kind of just went throughout the pattern, like the 2 minis are fading together, the mini with the main skein. The 2 minis are fading together, the mini with the main skein, etc. All the way through the end of the body. And it's a short sleeve, so I literally, what I did for yarn management on this one, if I remember correctly, is after I split the sleeves and they got down here, I went back and finished the edging with my main color up here to make sure that I had enough to finish off the sleeves the way that I wanted to do them. So that was my yarn management, and my advice on that is to go back and finish your sleeves and then finish your body so that you can see how much you have extra. And I had enough of my main skein to do the bottom ribbing as well. In hindsight, I probably should have done the ribbing a little bit longer. I think that would have helped it not to like curl up at the edges a little bit, but it's fine. You live and learn, and you make new advent sweaters. So that was my last tee that I wanted to share with you. I have one crochet option for you as well. This is called the Stripy Parvum Pullover by Nomad Stitches. And this, again, because it's stripy, it has a main color and it's stripy, you can do whatever main color you want to do and then do the stripes as your advent stripes, and you can make it as short or as long as you want, right? That's the beauty of knitting and crocheting, is that you are in charge of your own designing. But I love that, and I also love this other option. It's the same sweater, but it was crocheted crochet with Lou, and she did more of like a fade, so all the stripes were the same color, but each section in between was a different color. And I think that's a great option as an alternative way to use this pattern and to use up your advents. So you can do a main color for the stripes, and then the actual sections in between are your advent minis. I think that would look super cute. I'm actually really tempted to try this. I've been wanting to crochet a garment for a really long time. I just haven't had a chance or the motivation or the right pattern to do it with, but this might be it. And lastly, I have one bonus sweater for you. It is the Ravello sweater by Isabel Kramer. I have knit this pattern before. It's extremely simple and extremely customizable. And I wanted to show you how Coquette Knits on Ravelry was able to do this sweater striping sequence that she used on her Ravello sweater. She did 8 rows of her main color and 4 rows of her contrast color. And I think you could easily, again, swap out those, her same color stripes, even though it looks super cute the way it is. If you trade out those stripes for your advent minis, I think that would look super cute as well. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to share 10 out of the box ideas for your advent sweater knitting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye!